Hello, I'm Darren Ashley, back with you again for another Founding Fathers training. So what we are doing here is training you how to be a better man, a better husband, a better father. If I'm optimistic, I would say that maybe of all the kids in our country, half of them have good fathering. And so what does that mean? Well, that means those of us who are good fathers, working hard to do our duties, we're going to have to pull double duty to address the deficit of kids who are not receiving good fathering in our country. Kind of cold hard facts. It's something like 25% of the kids in our country now don't have a father in the house at all. And so I am trying to implement a program of training to help address that really critical problem in our country. Okay, so I've been talking about the duties of a man, duties of a husband, duties of a father. So far I've introduced protect, provide, lead, and today we're going to talk about discipline. So to be a man, to be a husband, to be a father, you have to have discipline. You have to have discipline personally, and then you have to introduce discipline into your marriage, and you have to introduce discipline for your kids. So what is discipline? Well, to make it simple, it means saying yes to things that lead you and your family to freedom and life. And it means saying no to things that lead your family to death and enslavement. So that's kind of a top level view of what is discipline. Another way to look at it is doing the right thing even when it's hard. This is what I teach the kids in martial arts. Responsibility is doing the right thing even when no one is there to tell you to do it. Discipline is doing the right thing even when it's hard. Okay, so how do we develop discipline? Well, we can start with simple physical exercises. I've got some weights here and we're going to do some weightlifting. How does that help instill discipline? Because it's hard. It's hard to get yourself in your busy schedule to carve out a minute of time to go do some physical exercise. But when you do that, when you start instilling the discipline of physical exercise, then you are beginning to develop mental discipline and even spiritual discipline. So it overlaps into other areas. So it's a really important thing to do to develop a simple physical training program. Weightlifting is probably the easiest logistically. I'm still wearing my regular workday clothes. I'm not having to really add that much to my schedule. I can quickly do this training regimen in my day. Now, I'm not 20 years old anymore. I'm going to be 60 this summer. Most of you are probably older also, so we can't try to do a workout routine like we did when we were in our 20s. That's not feasible. It's not feasible for our schedule. It's not feasible for our bodies anymore. It's not feasible for our energy level. We just don't have the time for that, but we got to do something. So what I recommend is if you don't have a weight set, get a simple weight set like this one. I think this was a total of 50 pounds and it cost about $100. I got it from Walmart. Comes with a barbell, comes with a couple of dumbbells. There's a whole lot we can accomplish with that. So what my son and I are going to do to start with, to give you a quick little training program, is we're going to do push-ups for warm-ups. We're going to do abdominals for warm-ups. We're going to do a little bit of stretching, and then we're going to do a little bit of weightlifting. So a really simple training regimen for you today. Okay, so here we go with some push-ups. Got to do some warm-up exercises before stretching. Okay, and now I'm going to do some V-ups. Abdominal training is really important to help prevent hernias later in life. Once you start getting into physical breakdown, it gets harder and harder to do your workouts. So abdominal training is really important that you do that as one of your first exercises in your routine. So let's do some V-ups. Okay, so that's got us blood flowing, got us warmed up a bit. Now we're going to do some stretching. Want to do stretching before you do weightlifting so you don't cause yourself an injury. Really important to do things like groin stretches, hamstring, all the places where you're likely going to get an injury if you don't take care of your body. So let's do some stretching. Do stretching for your groin to prevent groin pull injuries. Do stretching for your back. Lower back needs a lot of stretching so you don't get back injuries. The point of stretching is to let go. So instead of pushing and trying, just put yourself in a stretch position and relax, let go. Notice tension wherever it may be in your body and let that go. Learning how to let go is a very important skill for being a dad. All right, now I'm going to touch my toes, stretch my hamstrings and my lower back. You want to keep your spine upright for that and lean forward. And you can see I'm not a model of fitness. I'm not nearly in the same kind of physical condition that I was when I was younger. That's not the point. The point is develop discipline, some level of body sustainability, physicality, so that you can be available to your kids and your wife, and you're not riddled with injuries and neglect, laying on the couch, failing to deliver on your duties. Take a deep breath, notice tension, let go of tension, let the stretch happen, don't make the stretch happen. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of weightlifting. I like this weight set because it's inexpensive. There's a lot of things you can do with it. If you are constrained for space, you can take the weights off, stack them on the floor in the closet, stand the bar up in the closet. So it doesn't take a lot of space to be able to use this. My son is going to use the dumbbells, lift them off the floor up high. I'm going to do what's called clean and jerk. And what we're working to do is build up to heavier weightlifting. Heavy weightlifting is a great way to maintain men's health, such as testosterone. That becomes a real critical problem later as you get older. And so heavy weightlifting is a great way to maintain that. And for boys, they're young, their bones are growing, they should not be doing heavy weightlifting. They should be starting with weightlifting just to start building tendons, ligaments, muscles, joints, so that they are growing in strength. Too many boys now spend too much time with screens, even schoolwork, but computer games, on and on and on, not enough outside physicality. So really good to have your boys and girls doing a little bit of weightlifting. And I'm purposefully using a very light amount of weight. My experience is you need 1 month of gentle buildup of weightlifting before you try to get anything close to a max for every decade of life. So I'm going on 6 decades, so I need 6 months of gentle weightlifting before I try any kind of heavy weightlifting. So again, I'm not 25 years old anymore, so I have to gentle into this. So not a hard workout, not really the point. The point is start developing discipline, okay? So I'm gonna do a clean and jerk. So I want my back straight. You want a good belt. I've got my gun belt on here, so I'm just gonna tighten that up. Add some extra gut protection, some extra back protection. My son's putting on his weight belt. And the clean and jerk is you put your back straight, you look up, lift, over, and up. Okay, so there's one set. I'm going to wait about 60 seconds now. Not really more than that, not really less than that. And then do another repetition. Okay, now for my second repetition here. Head up, back straight. Okay, now another 60-second break. Okay, now we're going to do our third set. Okay, so that was a quick workout routine, and the point of that is to not make you a model of physical fitness like you once were, probably not anymore. The point is this is something you can do with your family, so you can apply some leadership. If you can get the ladies to join in, then bonus points. They will probably be good at joining in for the warm-ups and the stretching. Maybe not so much for the weightlifting. If you can get them doing weightlifting, that's good too. But for your sons, definitely you want to include them in some weightlifting. And it doesn't have to be a really strong workout. It just needs to be a workout so that you can begin to develop discipline in yourself and instill that discipline in your family. And like my sensei says, discipline leads to freedom. Okay, so it's very important to start incorporating discipline into your duties as a man, as a husband, and a father. Good luck. If you are able to do some of these, write down in the comments what you did with your family and report that to help inspire other men to do the same.